Hey guys, how's it going? It's January 17th, 2021. I figured I got a little bit of time before. I think I'm just going to play some video games tonight, probably some uh, Long Dark. I'm not going to do that online though. I don't think it makes that much views. If you're interested in the Long Dark and you want to see more of it, let me know. And I'll be happy to share it. I have a Discord channel as well, or on a Discord channel. I don't know what the hell it is, Discord link or something. I don't even know how to use the thing beyond communicating with my son and Scott. So it's it's one of those things that I would have to experiment with if I was to do it that way. For the number of views, it isn't worth it. So, but anyways, today I got some interesting thoughts, and Emmett and I were talking earlier this afternoon, and this all kind of stemmed off of a few things. I should mention the whole TrainSim thing, and I'll join. What? Join to watch? Oh, okay. Yeah. Where am I? How the hell do I do this, Quincy? How do I do it? Okay, let me hold on a second here. Hold on a second here. I don't know if I can do it this way. Now, this isn't probably going to do anything, but I don't know if I want to give this away. Does that give it away? I have no idea. I guess you'd have to look. I guess what would happen is you'd have to look up my name and use that or something like that. And then you can. But I still don't know how to do the whole live stream thing with that. So, but you're actually interested in the Lone Dark, Quincy? Or the Long Dark, sorry. You're gonna like today's episode, by the way. This should because I'm thinking, oh yeah, Quincy's. It's kind of funny because is on the opposite side of my son, where Quincy knows me, but my son also knows me. So he probably is going to see Run8 and think, "Uh oh, I told you." And don't worry, I'm just considering it. I've considered a lot of things, but I'm probably not going to take the plunge because my son on the other side told me another thing, and he knows me very well as well. And he's like, you'll do it for a couple months, and then you'll quit." And he's like, and I'm like, yeah. And I said, why is that? I have no freaking idea. I just get so bored of it, and after a while, it becomes mundane, and it's a lot different when you have people. A lot of, not a lot of people, but a fair amount of people, I would say. And Trona, yeah, as cool as it is, Trona, you can pretty much, that whole thing you can do single player. Yes, I know you're not considering right now, but it's coming. What's coming? What, Run8 version 3? There's nothing coming. There's nothing else there. But anyways, I got more trains. This is actually positive news with trains. So a lot happened today. I'll say that. First of all, let's go with the fun stuff. Um, I thought this was kind of cool. Uh, so back to all the fun over on TrainSim. Now I'll do the negatives and the positives. First I'll start off with the negatives. I wasn't even going to talk about this because, quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about this shit. But since were on the whole thing. This has nothing to do with Trona, but this was hilarious because Scott and myself have been vocal in the past. I even went so far, probably, I think it's been about a month ago, where I basically, and Dale's a nice guy. This isn't, against Dale or anything like that. In fact, Dale was nice to provide some videos and all that other stuff. That actually, it was Dale's video that kind of wasn't Dale's video, but the link that he shared really got me curious, and it got my son curious because he was considering it too, and he doesn't usually consider Run8, but he's like me, he loves operation and he loves logistics. And I work in the logistics field. I have a lot of experience with it, and there's a reason why I've always seemed to have gone that way because I enjoy logistics. I'm a shipper receiver. I deal with trucks. I deal more with just shipping and receiving than anything else, but I do play around with logistics as well where I work, and it's fun. It's challenging. It's dynamic. I deal with shipments all basically lots of different places in the world. Not all places, like Europe. Generally, coming from Europe on occasion. Most of it is U.S. to Canada. Sometimes Canada to U.S. Sometimes Canada to Europe on the odd occasion. Those are really fun. But those are usually returns because we import. But anyways, so this is, of course, the locked thread. And this started. I think I already had a video about this. This is this Brad dude. And, you know, I just figured it was a perfect opportunity for me to get into it to say. And there's even a discussion going on about the popularity of, Run8 and all this based on stats because of something or other. So, of course, I came into this late because, quite frankly, I don't watch. Oh no, it wasn't that late. It was only a day later. Okay, so I don't watch it that much, but then if I'm bored, I'll tend to check this forum quite a bit because there's nothing else to do. And then he gave me more data, so I talked about it, and I just basically said, um, where was he saying? Prototypically, because Seagoon asked about what do you mean by prototypical. So this thread kind of went on to its own way. Like here, it was like I'm going by the numbers as to what I see. I'm not going to go through all this, but I go through the numbers that were really informative that Depot does at the end of the year, and I was using it to basically make my case that, in fact, that doesn't show anything as far as Run8's popularity because Run8 is not as popular. There's not as many people around. Just because it's at one server and one server was up for the year in a pandemic means nothing to me. And they were barely up. Whereas a lot of others, if you look at a lot of other games and stuff like that, online's it's huge increases online for a lot of things. This was barely a blip, and you can even stem it to population growth almost. I think the numbers like with inflation's at about 2%. I don't know what population growth is at right now, but more people are out there potentially doesn't necessarily mean as the population grows, more people are available because more people are usually doing other things, but generally the field grows. I see more rail fans, for example, out today than I had years ago. And not everything does it. Television numbers are down. Television numbers have been down for a long time, and the reason why television numbers are down is people like myself pull the cord. Even though I am still playing around with cable a little bit, I barely watch anything on TV. Most of what I watch is through YouTube, and I do things online, and I do entertainment. So they wanted to know what about prototypical was. So I mentioned about how I did a live stream, and then I wanted to explain it. I didn't I was I this message was probably early in the morning, and I had to go to work. And then we're talking about single player and multiplayer and blah blah blah. This keeps going on. And I talk about highball. I says from a personal standpoint, I was able to generate the train. So we're all of a sudden we're talking about operations. But when you do, it does provide a purpose. And you see, now these guys are talking amongst themselves. For sure, the activity system MTS did give purposes, and I wrote many activities. So this kind of, like a lot of threads, makes a thing of its own. And then somebody's asking me again, wasn't one of the things you're working on with Trainz with some kind of industry forwarding system or figuring out whatever comes with Trainz works? I remember it being added to TRS 2004. So, I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden, okay, I have a few complaints about the thread being hijacked by a few people, and you know who you are. It stops now. Well, I assume they're talking about me, but they could be talking about the other guys, so I don't know who this is. Seagoon goes like, oh, ease up for crying out loud. It's all related. Just because the conversation evolves doesn't require a heavy-handed approach. And then when others make complaints, it has to be dealt with. It would be, I says, it would be nice to know what the actual complaint is. I have no idea of anyone here, to be honest, hijacking this thread. I read over this thread again because I'm actually appreciative of the information. I compared the information to that of the prototype. Other asked what it meant by prototype. A separate thread was started, however, more posts asking questions from me, a bit off topic, was replied to. Nobody was attacking the original poster, so I'm not sure who this would offend. So yeah, just because it's a complaint doesn't mean it has to be reacted to. And of course, this is a private matter. Blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. So can't explain everything. And Seagoon, this is a somewhat ridiculous approach. If a complaint is made, then any manager worth his or her salt would state the reasons for the complaint being lodged, so that in the future the chance of such a complaint being made against would be reduced. Sounds right to me. You don't have to mention anyone's name, just the reason for the complaint. Simple, basic, service-related philosophy. And then Vern's like, only Run8 area seems to have this moderation. I can't speak for that because I don't really go on to the other ones. Yielding a stick at Hogwarts, perfect. I says, yeah, no, if someone complains, we act in the other areas as well. That's not a reason for not starting what indicated the complaint in the first place. If you want to stop a repetition of an unacceptable post-generated complaint, say what the complaint was about. And it seems, in this case, the complaint should have been dismissed with, get a life. From what we could tell, this was comical. I'm not even involved in it. I'm just like sitting around. I think I did towards the end. These guys are cracking me up. Moderation ain't the courts of parliament. Move on or take it up with Nels. You know who you are. And when I get very short, put it this way, when I go to one-liners, when I stop doing my little spiels, you know, I'm just like, give me a friggin' break. I says, you know who you are. I know who I am. Certainly not psychic. I'll go stand in my corner now. I'm as he or you is, or whatever the heck it is. All right, drama playtime is over, and then they lock the thread. I'm like, Jesus, you got to be kidding me. And it's sad because that, I mean, at that point, it's just like, no wonder why I've said, you know, why don't you go get me banned? Because it's like, it's ridiculous. But I love the guys here. I enjoy the community. I really do. I enjoy coming here. This heavy friggin' headed moderation is really annoying. Oh, Trona branch has a reply already. So, I might as well show it to you already what's going on. So, Dale, again, very helpful. You know, he's talking about, he provided the video somewhere up here. So what happened was, this all started, well, I just added the Trona branch to my collection. At this point, I'm not interested. I've known about the Trona branch. I thought I knew about it, seen it. I know Scott had it. Mojave. And Trona branch is all TWC. They're talking about signals. I'm not even involved in this. Like you can see, I'm not doing anything. Then the YouTube videos are there. Well, once the YouTube videos are there, I'm like, okay, well, this is a form of entertainment for me. Let me see what it's like. And I look at the videos and I watch them with Emmett because what was interesting was the dirt bikes that were going through. We get a lot of dirt bikes around here, around Welland, and I thought it would be fun to show Emmett. And I showed another buddy of mine too. Um, and I said, yeah, that's the operation. Looks kind of interesting now that I see that. So I take it to 16,000, and then I'm asking about the stretch. Then I'm looking in on that stretch, and I'm thinking, okay, well, no, that's just a stub track, and that must have been where the line used to go to Trona or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Beats the hell out of me. So I say interesting operation. It's shown on the deep go schematic of the Mojave sub and offshoots. Not sure what purpose it serves. Well, it's prototypical, blah, blah, blah. On YouTube, a different thing. Sounds good. The other thing, Vern is following a link, which I just discovered. And here's the link right here. And it's about, when you go into about more, it actually, I'm pretty critical of the Run8 forums. Or Run8, not the forums, the site. Let me see what Quincy's saying. Nope, you're going back to Run8. Yeah, and how long am I going to be in Run8 for? Seriously. It's just a matter of time. Actually, before you went to experience of Mohawk and Selkirk, you said you wanted to try something with Lone Pine and Trona, and then LA killed that. Well, LA was gifted to me. LA was gifted to me, and I, yeah, LA was, it was gifted to me. It was, so I never bought LA. I was just like, this is too much. But then it was gifted to me because a friend, Ski, who's did a lot of multiplayer, he just lives over the river here, what we call over the river in the United States, over the Niagara River. That's what we call it here in the Canadian side. I guess the American side says it too. I don't know. Probably calls Canuckville. Who knows? But yeah, the video was taken from the top of here, and there's all kinds of dirt bikes going through and all this other stuff. This is a really, really good description of the entire operation. I gotta hand it to him. That thing's probably been around for a while. Anything else on this site is pathetic. I don't mean pathetic as in the site itself. It's pathetic how Run8 communicates with, I've said this before, how they communicate with people who are either, number one, who have bought their product, like I have. Yes, I was, when full disclosure here, I don't think this has anything to do with the stupid non-disclosure agreement that I have been warned. I've thought the only time the non-disclosure agreement came into play, I'll say this, happened about, I think it happened about 2 years ago. The last conversation I had with the Run8 guys. And all I can say about that is it's a nothing burger because nothing happened. So I don't know why. I was warned. I was warned then that I was under the non-disclosure agreement. Other than that, the non-disclosure agreement has meant nothing because I know nothing else that's already in the public. The only time it would have meant something was if we were testing out something that was coming up. I have no friggin' clue what they're doing and what they're up to. So the non-disclosure agreement, I guess, matters if we have conversations, which we don't. I haven't talked to the guys in a couple of years, and I appreciated the conversation we had, but it didn't lead to anything. It was fairly civil. They said what they had to say. I said what I had to say, but it was under the non-disclosure agreement, and that was it. I was like, okay, and I won't talk any more about it. But full disclosure here, and these guys don't know how to communicate with the people that are here. Or yeah, no, full disclosure, sorry. Full disclosure. I, as a beta team member, got my first copy of Run8. So I got into Run8 without having to spend a cent at first. That was only, I believe that was only the original route. After that, I think I even purchased a second version for my server, and then I purchased everything else after that, with the exception of LA. So that's my full disclosure of that, just in case people are wondering. I don't think a non-disclosure agreement means diddly shit. We're part of the beta team. They can do whatever the hell they want. Um, but as far as, updates, this is ridiculous. Press release, December 6th. But they speak. And the fact that I'm talking shit about them, I'll tell you something right now. And I don't think this is under any NDA either. I keep mentioning NDA because you never know. Um, the thing is, I can. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I lost a train of thought. The non-disclosure. I was talking about the non-disclosure. I keep on bringing it up, and because I got full disclosure, blah blah blah, everything else. I just have to. I'm trying to say what I was going to say. It has nothing to do with the non-disclosure. It's just in my brain all of a sudden. I don't know. I lost my train of thought on that. But yeah, you got press releases, all that other stuff that goes on. It's there's nothing happening. So if anything, that's what it is. If anything was going to, oh no, I was gonna. That's why, because I wanted to mention about what the non-disclosure about how I paid for whatever. That's it. Okay, let's get non-disclosure out of our brain. Now it has nothing to do with full disclosure. The fact is, they do a shitty job. And now I remember what I was going to say. Sorry, my brain works this way. What's coming up? Ah, it's doing it again. I can't get it out of my head. I don't know. Forget it. Let me get off the friggin' topic of Run 8. Oh, I had it on the tip of my head. This must be age. Man, talking like I'm Joe Biden. Anyways. So, yeah, I'll see what Quincy's got to say here. I gotta breathe. Blah, 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 blah. It's just a matter of time. No, it's not. Actually, before you went to experience, yeah, I saw that. Pine. Ski. Okay. But, so yeah, everything here that was going on. I just thought I'd go with that. I haven't seen the latest post though. What's this about here? Oh, okay, so it's included with the route itself, but no, that's cool. However, what isn't advised is the speed limits along the line we're exiting Mojave Yard. I don't know if it does change. Oh man. Let me just get my composure for a second. While I throw shit around. Okay. There we go. Yeah, the maps would have the speeds there, but sometimes the speeds on the display wouldn't matter. Okay, let me get out of there. Blah. Yeah, so I was going on about as far as, let me just get my composure here. So that was what I wanted to say, and I like I said, I wasn't gonna even mention about TrainSim. TrainSim's a great resource. It's the only place I'm on. They communicate through their own buddies, server, or their favorite server and forum or whatever. And that's just the way they communicate. It's their company. They can do whatever the hell they want to. As far as getting back into Run 8, it wouldn't last, like my son says. $20. But this is where I finally can remember what the hell I'm going to get into. The fact that I'm talking shit about them, and this does go back to the non-disclosure. The reason why I mention that, and I don't think it applies, is I know for a fact, and this is public knowledge, so I don't give a shit. I know for a fact if they don't like you, they won't sell to you. I haven't bought anything for a while. I haven't tried to buy anything for a while. So word gets out that I'm saying shit, which is I tend to speak my mind. I'll say what's on my mind, and I don't care. But if I was to go on and say things, I've been put it this way. I've been taken off of teams and banned from forums and all kinds of shit for a lot less. Now that I'm free from all that, I can, I'm not over on this isn't the TrainSim forum. This is my YouTube. This is my soapbox. If you come here, be prepared that I might talk about politics. I may talk about anything that is on my mind, and that's the way it is. And it could be decisive, it could be offensive, it could, whatever. I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody about anything. But this is my little soapbox. So because it's my soapbox, and Quincy and I can agree to disagree. We're chatting. He's chatting right now. Uh, I tried to tell you that the last shit fest you got into with Brad let version 3 come out and you tried to purchase, he's gonna block you. He's gonna block your purchase. He's gonna block my purchase of Trona, and I think he would. I honestly think he would hold that kind of grudge because I know others have talked shit. I'm not the only one that's had issues with these guys. I can't speak for the issues of the other guys. There's I can't even remember the people. It has something to do with the name of their parent company. It's very similar to the name of another company that's out there. I think his name's Mark, but I don't know the whole history of it, so I can't say one side or another. But I know that and a few other. Uh, they've had their. I've seen everything from people getting banned from the original Run8 forums, and I'd have to look the other way to I just look the other way and kind of shake my head and like, okay, I wouldn't do it, but I don't say anything. It's none of my business. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But whether they're personal grudges or whatever the heck it is, or they think I'm. Put it this way: I was trying to help. I was trying to help out people. The first time I got banned from the beta team, and it's kind of weird because here I'm talking about Trona, yet now I'm back onto this is why I don't even know if I would ever want to give them my business again, quite frankly. As much as they are the best train simulator out there. So it's just no, it's I don't know. I don't think personally, but anyways, the first time I got banned was because of me being vocal about explosions. And I'd be on live streams and I'd get pissed off about it because, yeah, I was in the middle of, I'd have session data, I'd have everything friggin' saved. Or sorry, I'd have everything going and it would just be destroyed like that. And they were like, they was like, well, you always make it. Even Dale was on it because Dale was on the team. He's like, well, you always make a big deal about it and blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I put a lot of time to these sessions. And I says, if these things happen, yeah, I'm going to react to it, and I'm going to react live on the thing. But the straw that broke the camel's back was apparently I was showing a video of how I basically showed a video of how the explosion works, why the explosions happen, or at least I played a video. I can't even tell you what video it was, but in it I showed people how to get around it. That before you did whatever it was that caused the explosion, friggin' save your route or whatever. And there was a way around it so that you can get back into it and then not make that same mistake that caused the bug that would cause the explosion. And I think it had to do with, I don't know if it had to do with coupling speed or I forget what the hell it was. It was a physics explosion. It was one of the bugs that they had for a while. And they eventually fixed it. There's other bugs now, but, you know, it is what it is. There's bugs now that I find that still come about, especially when you're dealing with resources. There's always been some type of, you know, little bug, and it's no big deal. Bugs happen. For the majority of people who run Run8, it doesn't really matter. But for the hardcores who, you know, want to save the data and want to keep it going, I mean, we've had ghost trains, we've had all kinds of horse shit. But these things happen, I know it. And I believe John when he's talking about, when he's saying that it's taking a long time to get version 3 ready. I imagine it is. I don't know if they're rebuilding it from the ground up or what the hell they're doing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, John has help for programming, but he's learned a lot of his programming, I think, from doing Run8. Is it spaghetti code? I have no idea. I've never looked into the code, and I probably would be I probably if it was me it would probably be a lot worse because I know what it's like to write spaghetti code. And the problem with spaghetti code is if it, you know, you do one thing to fix another, and then all of a sudden it causes another issue, and blah blah blah, and repeats. It's not fun being a programmer. At least, I mean, for some people it is. For me, I've never, you know, I thought I used to have fun with it, but I was delusional. I think it was more about ego. Ooh, yeah, I'm a programmer. Yeah, whoopee shit. But anyways, trust me, I'd rather play the games than program them. That goes the same way. I'd rather play the stuff than actually do a route. As much as I'm actually having fun, and that there is some progress I wanted to show you. So, where we got ski? I tried to tell you that. Blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah. Purchase. Uh-huh. He's petty like that. We got banned from the old Run8 forums for bringing up bugs. Yeah. And when you showed that first video of the bugs, shit hit the fan. Actually, Sean, the video got you banned. Yeah, I know it did. Because you posted it on the old forums. Yeah. I got banned right after you did because I made the comment of blowing up 7 trains in one session. Because, as a matter of fact, that night Brad and John both were in the session. I don't know. I don't remember. My memory's not as good, so I remember I remember what it was all about, and we're just like, okay, that's cool, but it is what it is. Moving on. Enough of this Run8 stuff. First of all, Quincy, you know, yes, I may try. I may hit another wall again and just say, you know, but even my son, who got excited at first, and this is a common weakness, and it's don't Run8 is very addictive. It's been a part of me for a long time, so it's very easy for me to. I'll admit it right now. There's parts of it that I do miss. But what ends up happening is I end up hitting that wall eventually. I eventually do. I eventually will run it to its limit, and it will get boring and repetitive. I had an email conversation, although I didn't really hear too much of Scott's side, um, between Scott and I. And I basically told him, and he basically said, yeah, that would be kind of cool and all that. You know, he said it would be different because, you know, other than a lot of the other servers that are out there, you know, to have something that's more interesting and more realistic and something like that, I think he said. Um, which he knows that myself or either myself or even he can do. So yeah, we can make it interesting. But he said right in the and Scott nailed it. He said right in it. He says there's not going to be that many people coming on. You know, Quincy might come around. It'll be me, Scott, maybe the odd other person, but other than that, there's not going to be that many people on it. It's going to be us. And I said, well, that's not so bad. I said, honestly, that's not too bad because it doesn't take much to run it. And the last time I believe I did Mojave, I put a lot of emphasis on running the entire Mojave sub. I think that was the last server that I ever ran. It wasn't a 24/7 server, but I ran it for a while, and I believe the day that I knew I was over with Run8 was I was on my by myself running the server as usual, and I think I even did it in a live stream. I think I ended a live stream. I don't know which one it is. You guys can look it up from about maybe a year ago. Look at the last time I ran Run8, and I think it would be kind of interesting. I don't care to go back to the past so much, but if you look at that video, I know the moment I had enough of Run8. It had nothing to do with the team. It had nothing to do with anything else that was going on. It had to do with Run8 became old that day, and I was tired, and it wasn't the same. And it was when I was just on, I was by myself as usual. It seemed, Scott was on it once in a while, etc. And I was watching trains running. I think I was doing a live stream, and I was setting up trains running, and they're all AI trains, and they were doing their AI thing, and I was doing a live stream, and I was talking about stuff and all that other stuff, and I was thinking to myself, what the frig am I doing? I didn't really feel like running anymore. I was getting tired of running. I was really getting tired of running. So I ended up doing a lot of just sitting back and doing a little bit of dispatching and kind of in the back of my mind thinking about things a lot more. One thing about Trona is I ain't going to be able to rely on the AI. I'm going to have to run. Yes, I can run an AI up and down the branch and throw a switch against it to pull the interchange off. I'm going to have to do some work. The one run would actually be kind of good. What I liked about towards the end, and I think I had a bit of a routine going in. What I ended up doing was I would spend. I liked it where I could spend a little bit of relaxing time and doing stuff around the house, like cleaning up, which this place is a mess because I never do anything that's totally relaxing anymore, where I can just like listening to music or letting things do their own thing. Like if I ever got into Train Dispatcher again, which is something Train Dispatcher is something I'd easily get back into. I just haven't felt like getting back into it. But it could be something if I really wanted to, I could. There's other things that I'm more interested in right now. Like in about 30 minutes, I'm going to do Long Dark. And who knows, maybe I'll start another live stream up. We'll see. See how that goes. But that was the night, and I knew it. And and I remember I did not. There was a time. It was around that time where I was burnt out from running, and it was just me. It seemed like everything that I was running, and I remember being down in Mojave the one time. It was just like everything that I was running. Maybe I was in Mojave. Maybe I was down there. I forget where, but I know I was running that day, and it was just like the cars that I had moved. It was just like glorified single player. It felt like it was the same cars I was running. I was doing the majority of the work. It was just friggin', and I kind of felt that way in Florida for a while too. It felt like it was just myself or somebody else was doing all the work. I wasn't doing anything type thing. I don't know what it was, but I got old of it. It got old real quick. And that's what happens. It gets old real quick. So my son knows me in that. He's been through me with that. And for him, he already knows. He doesn't have as much commitment to Run8 because yeah, he was still fairly young when he we went through it. I mean, he's old enough to remember, some of the new stuff that was coming out Run8 and excited. He's more about the eye candy and he admits it. He likes the graphics. He feels the graphics for Trainz is better for Run8. He's not too worried about the physics so much. He doesn't actually run the trains like with the rail driver. The rail driver is sitting on the. I took the rail driver down about a month ago. It's sitting on my shelf. It's the first time I've had that rail driver disconnected, with the exception of the moves, disconnected from my computer system. I plugged it in as soon as I moved in here, so I was ready to go. This was the first time I actually unplugged the rail driver, and I haven't plugged it in since. It was just like, it was just sitting here. I could have gone back to it. I never did. So whether or not I would, I don't know. I want to get into the train stuff though, but I'll read what you're saying here, Quincy. I don't know where the hell we left off here. Blah blah blah. Oh, maybe I saw it. Truth of the matter, if you're going to do it, keep it simple. That's the problem. If I keep it too simple, I get bored real quick. It has to be. I won't lie, LA drove me away from Run8, and that is just the facts. Well, LA, the LA expansion, I'll say this about the LA expansion. I've said this before. The LA expansion on the Southwest Forums, when that became a reality, and this was not right away from version 2. Version 2 was already out. We were running. We were running hot. Version 2 was awesome. When it came out and we were running, and we could have, a dozen people maybe on the server, I think two or three dispatchers. We could dispatch with two, no problem. It wasn't that difficult. And I would set the camera right up at Barstow, and I would enjoy just dispatching and watching the trains. There's a difference in multiplayer when you're relaxing and you're seeing other people enjoy it. What I was seeing was a stupid computer doing its thing. And yeah, that's true. It's the computer doing its thing, but that there's some humans involved. Maybe even the humans aren't involved in those particular things. Maybe the humans are actually dispatching and I'm just watching and who knows what else. But I didn't mind doing that. I didn't mind dispatching, knowing that they were part of the action or they were part of what was going on. I could turn around at Barstow and seeing the hump being operated, because the hump would be operated by somebody who was actually running the yard. I ran with Ski many times, the hump. Scott and I ran Barstow many times. Those were the glory days for me. And for him, it was version 1, when I had the server up. Don't get me wrong, there was times with version 1 was cool, but the thing with version 1, what really came apparent really quick was how much potential AI could do. And I knew it, because I couldn't get 30 people. I couldn't get 40 people. There was a lot of servers, so there was competition out there. And, if it was just the original roots under today's environment, I would probably still have a server. I'd probably still have RTS up today. But they had to expand. Then eventually I gave up the RTS server. I was thinking about going to the Northeast. I tried it out, and it was pretty good, but there was really no interest in it. There's a server right now that's Smiley's server, runs 24/7 as far as I know. I ran it a few times, and honestly, I'd get into it, but knowing that hardly anybody runs it, we got AI. I think I set up a bunch of AI trains running in a pattern, that just did their own thing that didn't require any dispatching. Not very realistic, just basically eye candy or something to be in the way. And yeah, it becomes old. It's railroading is more about just switching. Railroading is about running the train, the operation, the whole thing. It's and dispatching is part of it too. And so is, I mean, the hump is part of it if it's a big enough operation, but it can't be too big. It was perfect before. I think it was really good when they just had needles and Mojave with Barstow. I really do. And don't get me wrong, um, Cajon was a beautiful route, and it was okay. We were fine with it. We still were able to run with Cajon. But once it got beyond Cajon, and once it got beyond like that was Cajon was in version 1, I believe. So Cajon came into version 2. We were fine with it. Had AI just been in Needles and Mojave alone, that would have been pretty damn cool. I think. But of course, Cajon was much more picturesque than the other two routes, and Cajon was a fun route to run. It really is. It's really cool to run a train down there and seeing another train pass above you and all that other shit. Um, so yeah, Cajon is one of their better routes. But yeah, once it got to LA was just nuts. LA showed that Run8 had a major weakness. And it wasn't so much Run8 had the weakness, it was the fact that they kept on wanting to expand. I don't blame the guys trying to expand. I blame the guys trying to make money. But at the same time, you want to make money, make some smaller regions. Make a small region so that some of the small fish or single players can have some fun without having to take, you know, weeks to run 24 hours. It took us a full week to run 24 hours at one point. It was just getting ridiculous, but yeah. Cone, West Colton, yeah. Yeah, that was okay, but West Colton didn't really have a purpose until West Colton didn't really have much of a purpose until LA came along. And I was reading when I was in the run. I'm still talking about Run8. I want to get on to Trainz. Um, I was reading some of the detailed descriptions of the other things. There are parts of LA that is purposely set up for expansion. And that's in the notes, in the detailed notes on their form or other form their website. So they have that in mind. I know they have the Yuma. They talked about the Yuma sub for a long time. Yuma sub kind of got pushed back, and they wound up doing Bakersfield and Seligman first. Yuma sub had been on there for a while. Um, so uh, so there's a lot of that stuff going on. But hello, Canadian Pacific Hamilton sub. Well, that's kind of cool. It's interesting that you're talking about the Canadian Pacific Hamilton sub. Let's get right into it. Let us get into it then, because I was going to talk about trains as well, and I will talk about that. Let's quit talking about Run8. And this is the problem with, not the problem. This is when I'm diverse. Well, number one, I put a title with Run8. I put taglines for Run8 and Trainz. Um, so yeah, this is the Run8 thing. This is where my passion really lies, though. My passion still lies here, and this is the thing. Now, the reason why I started thinking about Run8, it would be so easy for me to just go ahead and give up. I want to show you the route that we're on right now. Um, so Canadian Pacific, I think Canadian Pacific. I'm not too sure how far you're looking at the Hamilton sub, but I will show you what I have. And my plans for the Hamilton sub was to model from uh, from Robbins East, or Brookfield East, I should say, which is CP, or Control Point Robbins on the CN Stanford sub. Where am I here? I'm on January. I'm looking at October. Oh, I got too many freaking files and none of the images. I deleted a few of them. Oh yeah, Simpson was one that I tried to do a freelance one with my son. I immediately gave that up in no time. My son couldn't understand why. And I was just like, I cannot. If people give me an open canvas, January 2021, I guess that'd be the one. I'll go in editing the route. So here's where we stand with. I'll take the preview just to show you what's going on. There's a lot of good things about this route that we have set up and started in motion. We had a good start with the main lines. The main lines aren't the issue. What ended up happening, the wall that I started facing was the yards. So for those of you not familiar with DEMS, here in Canada, we don't have the most detailed DEMS. In a lot of places, they just don't have it. So this is the Y along the canal at Port Robinson and Allenburg. Now, as you can see, we've made some changes. They're in the air now. The reason why they're in the air is because the DEMS, this is what we are quote-unquote guessing is the actual height based on our observations. So we've got the grades in here, and you'll see the grades pop up. So I've got the steady grade at 0.47% going around the corner. There's a little section here that says 1.27. I don't even notice it, so I don't even know what's up with that. And then, once we get down to here, of course, there'll be more adjustments because it does actually go down. There's a dip here, so I have to do some adjustments for that. But I'm not too worried about the main lines. Mains are easy. Once you get an idea of looking, not to mention I do have a drone, even though we're under a lockdown. I have video. I took some of my drone videos to get an idea. There's one where I follow a train in here, and we kind of got an idea as to how this looks from the air, and basically from there we're able to get over a major hurdle. Now here's where the issue lies. If you look through here, now I added some, you can look at the percentages. You can see that they're going up and down all over the place. This is because if you look at the ground, we'll bring it down close enough, and I'll show you what I mean. And this is where I got hung up for a while. Actually, my son got hung up, and it's kind of funny with him because he'll get really into it. Now you can see this is the hill where there's a cut, and that's accurate because again, 15-meter data. This is a proper hill, and then it flattens out. Over here, it actually goes downwards. So, whoops, where are we here? I gotta find the right roads. Okay, so over here, it does go downwards, which it shows here to some extent, but it goes down a lot further. So what we had to do is we had to start so we got this going up, which it kind of is. We made some changes, so that's, oh yeah, so we started elevating that. Down here, it's actually higher. It goes into a bowl, but we haven't done that yet. But you can see how the land goes up and down. And we're working on that part, but this is the part we're pretty happy with right now, believe it or not. No, not that. That's bad. We haven't got that far yet. We're still working on it. We got to Port Robinson control point right now. So everything Port Robinson control point now we're happy with. We both my son and I are in agreement. He was getting frustrated, and he was just like, I don't know what to do. It just doesn't look right, Dad. It doesn't look right, Dad. He's just going on about it. I says Emmett, I get it, because he couldn't. It was confusing to him, and he's really really smart. He's probably more intelligent than me, quite frankly. And you don't say that about kids. The experience and life experience and all that. Intelligence is a different breed. He's very very intelligent. Um, he thinks different ways. But anyways, I don't want to go on about my son and all that. So, but he's getting frustrated because the data is just freaking making the track look like a friggin' roller coaster, and because it'll put the track onto the ground. And I said it's because of the DEMs that are probably 15, 20 meters. So every 20 meters is another point, and then it averages it out. So it'll average out the if it says 2 meters higher this way and to the other one, it does a slope. So it'll slope it out, and that's not always the case. But that's what happens. I mean, and we got to put some bridges in here. I thought I had a bridge here once. I swear I had a bridge in there. I don't know what version I'm working. Well, anyways, whatever. Um, I will show you the Grimsby sub. Grimsby sub is a little bit more, but yeah, man. So last time I started laying track work here. Yes, I did, or I did something. I swear I did something else down here a little bit more. I don't know. Who knows? If I have to lay it again, at least I know what date I'm on now. I hadn't been in it for a while. I'd been avoiding this, and then I got into the drone flying, and you can see the Hamilton sub is below here. So this is pretty cool. And okay, I'm getting confused with another route that we were originally building or something. I don't know. But this is the Hamilton sub here, where its connection to the CN. Um, One time I did have a previous route that I was working on. I decided to scrap it because I didn't like. I was using. That's right. I was using Transdem or something like that. But this is pretty nice because it's got the nice entrance towards the tunnels and everything. So that's about it. The tunnel's going to be probably a portal for now until I expand it further. This is going to expand. I have another one. The problem is these things get very, very big to load up and all the other stuff, and I don't know how far I want to stretch it. I mean, in theory, I could be up here and I could see a long ways away. Like you see, I can see to the ones where it's not showing anything. Anyways, I'll show you the Grimsby sub. The Grimsby sub, we did do a little bit of scenery. Um, this was this is the Trestle Jordan Harbor, 20 Mile Creek. I got the alien structures here. That's some dem error of some sort. But this was the best bridge that I could find that was close enough to it. So it's a stand-in. It looks like a. Wow, I even put a sailboat in there. Oh, that's cool. I don't remember doing that, but I guess I put a sailboat in there. Oh yeah, and I put the camera in there too. So I do have a. Wow, we even get the camera shot. Okay, I remember that now. So yeah, I got one track. When you see it goes in, that's actually in a cut. So the ground above there, so that's accurate. And eventually, I'm gonna have to deal with it. So when it disappears and reappears and all that other stuff, 16 Mile Creek. That's another bridge I'm gonna have to work on now that I have drone footage of it. But I do have some more footage coming up here, or more scenery coming up as we get in towards St. Catharines. This is 12 Mile Creek Bridge in St. Catharines. Not bad, I think. I think it's a pretty good... It's not a perfect replica, but it'll do. I haven't put the embankments or whatever, and yeah, the track needs some work, and this goes into another cut again. Doesn't do cuts very well because, again, that's that 15-20 meter data. And still some work to do. That's the control point at Glen Ridge, Highway 406, Old Canal, and the track just kind of disappears. It's still there. It's just, you know. Canal Sub, Thorold, along here. So we got that up there. I don't know why it zigzags there, but it does. So, yeah, we got the Canal Sub a fair... Oops. No, we had it a fair way, and then that was it. I guess that's about all of it. So it goes to about there, and then, yeah, that's the end of it. So, yeah, you see the changes with the various numbers, like 1%, 2. See, this is where you get this little zigzag. So if it stays along the ground while it's climbing up, this is the roller coaster effect. Because what it's doing is it's the track is being laid towards the ground. It's moving all over the damn place. But that's probably because of the positioning and all that stuff. Some of the track is, you know, whatever. This is Clifton. None of this we've worked on for a while. We still have to go back to this. This is the Whirlpool. Did I do a bridge at... I don't think I did a bridge for... No, the bridges would be right here. So you got the rapids. And some of this is just... Yeah, I think I did up to there, and then that was it. So I have the old Hamilton sub. At least I think I do. Did I actually do it? It should be here. Oh, I do have the... Oh, I have the track, I just don't have the bridge. Yeah, I gotta build the bridge. Eventually. So I didn't get the Niagara Falls. I had the... I got the American Falls. I think that's it right there. Yeah. Doesn't look too good, but you can see where it is, and then so Horseshoe Falls would be right here, right where everything goes off, and then... I don't think I included... What the hell? What's that? Oh, okay, that's the Stanford sub. Never mind. Okay, so I didn't include the... I don't think I included the Hamilton sub. So I got the Stanford sub. Where am I here? This doesn't make sense. Okay, now that's the Stanford sub. Okay, gotcha. Alright. So I've got the Stanford sub laid out. Not perfectly, obviously. This is based on the metadata or whatever the hell it is. I've got some drone flights of this area, so I have a really good idea of how things are going to be. I still have to do some drone flights out this way. Of course, we're on lockdown right now, so... But as you can see, I've already started playing around with some of the track heights and that, just to get it more... no, it's not that high, actually. That's based on the last thing we did at Port Robinson West. So, yeah, well, I got some work to do there. The curve. This took about a good hour to get to finally get a. And again, this is an estimate because you don't have the DEM data. You have to bring it off the ground, and you have to... Eventually, you're going to have to put the ground underneath it. So you'd have the ballast work its way up. You'd have a ditch over here, and then you know, all the trees. You won't even notice it, but it is it actually does ride that high, and it is what it is because that's how the rails actually run. And then the scenery and the, you know, in the background and all that other stuff. So it rides pretty good. It'll ride pretty good. We already tested. We did a test run of running around the Y, and we were pretty happy with the grade. It seemed reasonable, no sudden jerks or anything like that. Um, I don't know if we're going to continue the Allenberg. We're probably going to continue the Allenberg spur, although I don't have data right now for it. I might have to. I might have to get some data, but I'm not too interested in it. The only purpose I have for this right now is turning power, which is used a lot for it, but they also use it for storage further on down this way. So this track is actually existent. It's a lower quality map or image, but as you can tell in my voice, this is where my passion is. So it's a lot. The problem is there's a lot of challenges. It took a while to get those yard ladders in. We were fine getting them in because I knew I could do it, but then the challenges became the height. The reason why this yard is so important and why I'm working so hard, I could work on the main lines. The main lines are much easier to do. The yard is important to get the heights right because if I start operating again, which I want to operate again, I want to start running again. Once I get the heights table correct and I start saving sessions, no matter what I do to the rest of the route, as long as the cars where they're sitting, be it industries or yards, are fine, it will allow me to continue to upgrade the route, just like you're in a model railroad and you're upgrading everything. So you start on plywood and then you work your way you work your way through everything, and you know, it's really cool. It just, you're able to run on plywood. So, but anyways, hope that helps. That's the that's what we've got so far done. I like I said, I do plan to have the line run just south of Grimsby on the Hamilton sub. So I have some very good visuals of Welland Yard. I'll show you some of my visuals here. I guess I'd have to go through my screenshots. Yeah, let me just go through my screenshots real quick. So these are, a lot of this is drone imagery. So, and this is where the drone, you know, comes in to play really well because you can tell what the grades are. You can tell where the hills are. You can tell it gives you really good. The problem with Port Robinson is, as a manned yard, I can't be flying a drone around all the time. But down here, I can see how the grade goes. I did a detail shot there just to see how it looked. This is far superior than Google Earth. Just being able to get through. Of course, I got a lot of drone footage of the various trains that go through the ships. You know, 421, 422 doing its thing. Some night stuff at Glendale Avenue, which is nearby, which was kind of cool. This is my this is the biggest passion I have right now, and I'm unable to do this. Now, this is Fort Erie. So, unfortunately, I haven't had too much day stuff because most of the stuff that happens down here, with the exception of CP, happens at night, and we're in the, well, number one, we're in the lockdown, and number two, it's shortest time of year, so everything is dark as hell down here, but I was able to get some stuff. There's a new hopper train, apparently, that's been running through Niagara, but I don't know how long that's going to last. These cars get brought in and, or get brought down, and they end up going to Winnipeg. It's really weird. It's Buffalo, New York, across the Niagara River there. My car. Some nice twilight shots. That's Duff at mile 3.1, the Stanford sub. Nice dark, nice night shot, and this was done by again by the drone. This is Oxy Vinyls. which is in Port Robinson. I flew over the plant at night. I haven't tried doing it in a day. This is here in where I live in St. Catharines, with the city and Burgoyne Bridge at night. I haven't done too many more. Okay, now we get into this is around Clifton. This is in Niagara Falls. Now, here's the thing. Thoroldstone, there's a 2 mile or kilometer, I don't know what it is. I think it's a 2 mile radius or whatever. I think it's 2 kilometers. I don't know what the hell it is. But whatever it is, it ends, the circle that goes around goes all the way to Chippewa and comes all the way out to Thoroldstone Road right here around Niagara Falls. You can't fly a drone. It's a no-fly zone. So I have to fly, unfortunately, from this side. But I am able to see, I got plenty of imagery in there. This is, that's Clifton over here. I eventually get over to there. So yeah, I fly around Clifton. That's a Grimsby sub in the background. Hydro canals. That's Niagara Falls right there with the mist coming up. Upper Niagara River, you can see well from here. The hydro canal goes that way. You can see the hydro canal here. That's a reservoir, and that's the American reservoir on the U.S. side. The gorge. There's the power plant right there. That's the U.S. power plant. The Canadian power plant you can't see because we're not high enough and looking the right way. But that is I forget the name of this industry. It's a tank industry. Various basically a tank farm, or people want to, people want to it's a transload facility, I should say. It used to be called Lubersdal. I forget what the hell it's called now, but yeah, they do shit. That's all I know. Now, this is this bridge at 16 Mile Creek. Trying to find a bridge that looks like that is very difficult. But, again, you can see, now, here's the cut I was talking about. You can see how high the trees are in comparison as we're going up through here. You can barely see the train. So what's happening is the land starts raising up over in this area for a little bit, and this just cuts right through. It does the same thing at 12 Mile Creek in St. Catharines. And I flew through around 12 Mile Creek as well, so little blurry there. I've got a lot of images. And, of course, videos. That's looking towards Lake Ontario, Jordan Harbor. It's on a much clearer day, you can see Toronto across. Can't this day. A little bit too much haze. Come on. Give me a break. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to. This is Welland Yard, so you're looking for a Hamilton sub. This is what Welland Yard looks like. Now, here's the other trick with Welland Yard, and there's a video how to unlock the lock codes, and I have to find it for there's a way to unlock these lock codes. There's an airport just over here. Now, I am totally legal what I am doing. In fact, even if I get locked out here and I get locked out behind because I'm too close to the airport, I'm in basically the approach strips. It's a cautionary zone. Cautionary zone, I do not have to worry about it. If a plane is in the vicinity, then I bring it down. I'm only flying at 30 maybe. Yeah, I don't think I'm flying more than 30 meters here, by the looks of it. 35 tops. I'm not even up to 60, I don't think. But you can see I've got really nice view of Welland Yard. The airport's right here. See? So there's no approaches here. This is why I was allowed to fly there. But other than that, I'm totally legal. But that's Welland Yard along the Hamilton sub. This is Port Robinson Yard. So again, this is the one we're working on. I can see a bit of the bowl. We have other imagery on the other side as well. Probably get to it eventually. Mid-train DPU. You can see the ditch area here, and then it starts to go back up, but it seems to be a little higher here. It's definitely higher than this area here. We're almost above the tree lines there, so. Again, this is a manned yard. This is an operational yard. It's not manned. I don't think it's manned 24/7, but it definitely has cameras, and the only time it's really not, I shouldn't say that. I mean, during the day, it's kind of okay. This is just it has nothing to do with trains. This is just Port Weller, Lock 1, out at the mouth of Lake Ontario. I do enjoy ships, so. And then just some scenery shots of Welland at night. That's the actual Welland Canal there, East Main Tunnel. Heads towards Niagara Falls. And then that's out on the Grimsby sub. Yeah, that's Grimsby there. I can tell by the McDonald's. I think that's Grimsby. No, that's Beamsville. We're just on the other side of Beamsville. And that is downtown Welland with the Christmas lights on the this is the old abandoned canal since '72, where now they bypass the city. But you see the lights change color or whatever. Up a little higher. And that, I believe, was Christmas Day, I think. We did get a white Christmas. We don't have any snow right now, though. And we haven't had much snow at all in January, to be quite honest, which is the way it is. Sunrise, Niagara Falls. A little bit better view. It's around the same area, Thoroldstone. I think it rained the night before, or had wet snow or something. I have no idea. Beautiful morning. I love those shots. Yeah, I snuck on the other side of the road. I'm not supposed to, but yeah. I try to say, nah, see, this is where I start getting some footage over on the other side. I've actually had other footage over on the other side here too, but this time, again, trying to see what it's like along the Stamford sub. I do both ground views, ground video surveillance, combination of ground video surveillance. Now, I'm still right outside that 2-mile zone of the falls here. But this, right here, somewhere around here, it's a circle that goes this way. And then that's where you can't fly into it. It's no-fly zone. St. Catharines, back to snow again, I guess. Actually, that's just after Christmas. Now, here I am in the cut by 12 Mile Creek. Again, this bridge, you don't get a good side view of this bridge, but there's a lot going on. Once again, down Niagara Falls, Clifton. At work, it gets boring. I don't know if this was at work. No, this was out on a weekend. But at work, it gets really boring trying to go to the same spots all the time. What number am I on here? Oh, 418 of 587. Holy crap. Hamilton sub. Here we go. So this is the, this is just after, as the sun's setting, looking to the east. Fenwick's off this way. That is, I can't think of the name of the road here. There's a station name sign right here. This is Highway 20 underpass. It's right by Fenwick. Highway 20 and Victoria Avenue. Watching the intermodal train go by, so that's some good views. Then back to Port Robinson again. Another twilight shot. This was a pretty cool shot. Good views of the bridge at Port Robinson. 531. watch them knock down the signal, and then as you can see, it's the sun's set now, and I was just like, that was one of my favorite flights. Then a daylight flight, another cool flight. So see this skin closer to the hydro stations. You can see the lower Niagara River below. That's the top of one of the two hydro stations on the Canadian side, and that's Sir Adam Beck 1 and 2, Canadian side. Robert Moses Power Plant on the American side, and pump generating station is right there. Canadian pump generating station is harder to see. Queenston Heights, Brock's Monument. He was a hero in War of 1812 for Canada. That is the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge. Highway 405. Niagara Escarpment. That is a GO train, which is a commuter service. They're not running again because of the lockdown, but that was running at the time. At night, going through St. Catharines. This is the start of the Stamford sub, or start of the Hamilton sub at Robbins East, or I always call it Robbins East, Brookfield East. It's Robbins on the Stamford sub, but it's Brookfield East on the Hamilton sub. So some good shots there. Yeah, see, so that was December 20th. Yeah, I'm going backwards. I'm all over the place. Different times, so. So again, I get to see a lot of different angles here. How the train climbs and all that other stuff. What the scenery looks like. Train going by St. Catharines. You know, that looks like a repeat of what I just saw. A lot of that does. Did I actually take repeat photos? It looks like I did. Anyways, I'll have to check. Who knows? I might have repeat screenshots. But they go in the background here anyways, so. Yeah. So, anyways, that is... Well, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. That's always cool to see, so glad you guys enjoy it. I'm going to end this one now. If you're interested in the Long Dark, I'll have a live stream. I'm probably going to take a break for about 15 minutes or so. And, you know, rest my voice or whatever, and then I'll play the Long Dark for the rest of the evening. So I'll be back in about 15 minutes, do another live stream, I guess. We'll enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay, so I'll be back shortly if you're interested. If not, talk to you later. Always subscribe and do whatever. Obviously, appreciate all the likes here. If you like more of this content, feel free to comment when the video goes up, or you can always check my website, which is blah 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 blah. Sites Google blah blah. Yes, Sean Roll RTS. I haven't updated in a while. I've been lazy. You can always comment through here. That is also available through my YouTube page. When you can go into, you can go right to my YouTube change. YouTube change. You can go right through here, and there's links to my Twitter. Although I'm not using Twitter that much for much of anything these days. But that goes into, I don't know why that goes to Trainz Railroad Simulator. I have no idea what that's about, but that goes to, this goes right to my website. So, and it's a Google site, but it is what it is. And it's pretty good because then I go through different blogs, which I haven't done one since January the 3rd. I should do one, but I haven't done one lately, so. But that's all the stuff that I still have to do, and I try to post all my YouTube videos up here since I got the site. I got to talk about Niagara creating realistic grades, which is kind of where I was stumped at for a while, but I'm getting back into it again. So not much of a hiatus. I kind of got back into it again, then I got away from it, so I've kind of been away for a couple months, especially since I got the drone, because that became a very high priority for me. But it is what it is. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll do the Long Dark. Have a good one. Talk to you later.